Welcome to The Juice, where we're talking about getting more of what we want and less of what we don't. Hi, I'm Jory Jardins of BlogHer, and today we have a very special episode of The Juice. We asked for submissions for our very next episode, and after a long decision process, we have selected Christine Coe of Boston Mamas.
Thank you, Jory. I'm so thrilled to be here.
And we are shining the Top 50 spotlight on you, Christine, because you were the inspiration behind this episode.
Thank you.
Today, Christine is here with us to share her insights on the topic of giving more to get more. So you have a pretty interesting story about how you get into blogging.
Yep, I actually spent 10 years as an academic honing my expertise in music and brain science, and as I was coming to the end of my postdoctoral fellowship at Harvard and MIT, it just became increasingly clear that I would rather perish instead of publish. So I decided to make a huge leap, and I started BostonMamas.com. I launched my design business, Posh Peacock, and I became a freelance writer and editor, and the rest is a short history, I guess.
Well, that's interesting because it seems like you definitely like to put out that leap of faith to get something in return, and it would make sense that your post, giving more to get more, would actually be what we're talking about today. Tell us a bit more about how that works.
Yeah, the concept is actually very simple. The idea is that, if you give more in your relationships, you get more. And I think the easiest way to see that for yourself is to simply help somebody, with no strings attached, without any expectations about getting something back. And when you do that, you not only feel, good about the kind act that you're giving, but it strengthens your relationships.
That's a great idea, and I wish more people took on the same approach. But I mean, given the economy, it seems like everyone's looking out for themselves.
I agree, and I think that if you look out only for yourself, ultimately, I think you'll be alone. So it's actually really easy to look out for your friends, and one of the good ways to do that is, through networking. And especially in this economy, more than ever, it's important to stay connected with people. So, for example, you might have 500 people all looking for the same, job, and that personal edge, a personal connection can make a huge difference. So whenever I hear of a friend who's hunting or hiring, if I can make some kind of connection, I immediately do, whether it's via email or Facebook or LinkedIn. And when I make those connections, the gratitude is palpable. And I know that at some point I'll probably be somebody looking for a connection or an introduction, and I know my friends will be there for me.
Well, what you just said actually reminds me of a blog post from contributing editor Paula Grigorowicz. She writes this: I know when I'm able to connect two people, I'm thrilled. It doesn't have to benefit me directly because I know what goes around comes around. Not to mention it just plain feels good to pay forward some of the connections and blessings I've received over the years.
Absolutely, paying it forward.
So even if your friends aren't looking for a job, there's got to be other ways that aren't going to break the bank to show that you care.
Absolutely. Actually, when I'm totally crazy with work and have piles and piles of things to do, one of my favorite escapes is to create a gift for someone, and it's just a great way to sink into doing something else. I actually just finished hand stitching a baby quilt for a girlfriend who just had her first child, and it's time consuming, but I don't even think about the time, and I think it's wonderful how much love goes into each little teeny tiny stitch. Even if you're not crafty, creativity manifests in other ways. You could write a letter or share a digital photo or bake treats, and it not only feels good to do something creative and give somebody a gift, but I just love imagining, the look on their face when, they either receive it or just if I can imagine that if I'm sending it to them by mail.
Now, earlier before we sat down, I noticed you brought one bag with you on the set. So you clearly travel light.
I do. I try to travel light physically and emotionally. And regarding relationships, the way that translates is that I try to drop baggage. So there are two ways this manifests. The first is personally, I've worked really hard in the last few years to try to drop baggage around relationships that I've had that have gone south. And what that means is that I focus on acknowledging, and accepting that I did the best that I could as the person I was at that moment. And the other way is dropping my assumptions about how people should behave. And, I have a pretty strong internal sense of correctness, so, that's hard for me. But it's, important to realize that the world needs all types of people, who operate in different ways. So I found that by dropping this baggage, I've been able to reconnect with family and friends and basically give more to those relationships and get more from them. This spring I actually got a flip camera.
Oh yes.
And it's a video, and I just love how easy it is to shoot a video, plug it into the USB, and then fire off an email video to a friend or a family member. And for I have relatives who are far away, and they just melt when they receive videos of my daughter singing or dancing. There's just something so powerful about the moving image. But I also like the idea of taking it a step beyond that typical usage, and using the video to record a birthday or a holiday or just a thinking of you greeting. There's just something powerful about the moving image that will take you beyond a tweet or a Facebook update.
Christine, it's been wonderful having you
on
the show
this week. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. And thanks to Trop50 from Tropicana for making the juice possible. We want to share your advice and tips, especially if you record a video tip or have a blog post we can point to. Join us at blogher.com/thejuice. You'll also find cool ways to win prizes. You'll get to see more of Christine's tips, and we'll see you there.